What is going on, everybody? It is episode 959 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I'm here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We were struggling with some serious boomer tech issues, and we averted those crises prior to the stream, but it's a high-stress environment today in the studio.
Yeah, we take it very seriously. Phil's here.
I'm not stressed.
Yeah, Phil's fine.
I'm fine.
How you doing?
How you doing, everybody? My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary, and I'm also not stressed.
All
I'm
right.
very calm,
Very zen.
cool, collected,
As we all are.
because I know what a noise gate is and how it works.
Hit the like button on this video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the show out with everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share it with, the faster this channel can grow. Thank you so much for that.
I must ask you a favor, Brett. Can you please put up a poll?
Oh, yeah.
I want to ask the chat, since this is relevant to a topic we're covering later. Do you think that smoking is cool? And I mean specifically smoking cigarettes, not weed. We're talking about cigarettes here. Is smoking cool?
It does
because
not. Go ahead.
rumor has it Gen Z is trying to make smoking cool again.
It does
I thought
not
it never
matter.
stopped.
It does not matter what the poll results are. Smoking is cool.
This is the definitive answer from
Period.
Phil.
Okay,
Former
hold it.
smoker.
Keep talking. I gotta
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah, longer
but
than most of the people in chat have been alive.
the way you talk about it, like, makes me even more scared to ever try
Never
smoking
try it.
cigarettes. I don't
Never.
plan on it, but like the fact that you still miss smoking to this day should be a warning issue
Yes.
to anyone who thinks about smoking in the future.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, they are able to smoke socially, though.
I-
They seem to not have that factor that like makes it addictive to them. Like some people just have a personality that's like that.
Yeah, I mean, there is a physical addiction that comes along with smoking. So it's not like pot is a psychological addiction. People think they need it, but they don't. And there are other addictions that are psychological. They think that they rely on it. Things like alcohol, things like cigarettes, those actually create a physical dependency. Heroin's another one that creates a physical
Don't do
dependency.
that one, guys. It's
Some
bad.
people do heroin socially.
I know people that have, dabbled in.
Not saying it's a good thing.
No, I would not recommend
But
it.
some people really do hard drugs socially, and like it's
Yeah.
like for some reason they just don't
Yeah,
get addicted to them.
I wouldn't recommend anyone smoke cigarettes. I wouldn't recommend anyone. I mean, I don't even recommend people drink anymore. Like, there's not really, in my opinion, there's not really.
I'm pro drinking.
You can-
100%.
I'm not anti-drinking, but I personally don't see a whole lot of value in it. Like, you can walk the line on getting a little bit of a buzz, and it might not, people might not notice. But if you get drunk, everyone can tell, and nobody looks cooler when they're drunk. You have to be able to get a buzz on and enjoy the buzz without anyone being able to tell. And once you get
Right.
drunk, when you're actually drunk, everyone can tell you're not fooling anyone, and nobody looks cooler when they're drunk at all.
Okay.
Go
Yeah.
off.
It's totally true.
Just don't go down my
Moderation.
path where, you get
Yes.
really bad and then you have to stop doing everything. That's the path I was on. So just don't do any of it. It's bad for you.
I just put in a Zin, guys. Full transparency.
She did.
But listen, when I don't Zin, it's not like I feel like
She's like, the world is a little bit darker and grayer.
it makes life boring to not have nicotine, but I don't feel like I don't get headaches or like sleep issues or whatever else I've heard people say that they experience when they don't Zin.
In the chat, the real Hydro says, smoking shows you have a life and you're stressed as F.
We'll get to all of that back and forth later.
Somebody
in the show, though.
said Brett used to smoke cigarettes. I did not.
No.
Despite all of the many things I did that I should not have been doing, I've never in my life smoked a cigarette. I had family that did, and I always hated the smell of it. So, I just went straight to the heavy stuff. No, guys, again, hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you're not subscribed here yet already. As I said, we've got a bunch of stuff to get into today. Number one, of course, being that there is an OnlyFans star named Ariel Kitsia.
I believe she's a Russian immigrant.
And she is
yeah.
speaking on college campuses because she wants to fill the hearts and minds of many of the young people in this country.
With her whorish wisdom.
Big super chat there from Bigfoot Day. Bigfoot does the. I can't read the whole thing there.
Bigfoot does the weather?
Looks like it.
He says, I quit smoking after 20 plus years. It was hell to quit. I don't miss it. It's the worst addiction. You get no buzz, only relief from not smoking. Evil habit.
I've heard that quitting it is really, really, really bad. Like I've heard that, like it's as somebody who did get off the heavy stuff. It
depends on the person how you feel about missing it or not.
Yeah,
I guess the way I've always
had to go to the other side of the planet to make it stick.
Yeah,
literally.
I will say that like giving up the opiates when you're literally doing hospital heroin. I've always said that the best way I could describe it is I wouldn't wish, if I had a worst enemy, which I don't, I'm not cool enough to have like an enemy, but if I had one and I had an even worse one, I had a worst enemy, I would not wish going through that on anybody, not even my worst enemy. So just don't do any of that stuff. Anyway, this OnlyFans model, star, she's speaking on college campuses and she's trying to impact the youths with her very, very intelligent views of the world. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Jeffree Star, who we've talked about on this channel before, denouncing trans kids and the parents who believe they have trans kids, calling them effing weirdos.
It's very true, but we're at a very strange place in society when Jeffree Star, of all people, is saying others are effing weirdos when he is the definition of an effing weirdo. And I don't say that with hatred in my heart. I actually am kind of a fan of Jeffree Star.
Yep. So that, and as we were just discussing, Gen Z is trying to make cigarettes great again.
And it's working, in my opinion.
All right, we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If everybody's ready to go, we can go. Mary, are you ready?
Yes, let's
go.
Phil? Okay, let's go for it.
So you guys might have seen last week that the Wicked for Good sequel premiere got stormed by an insane stalker fan. He rushed the red carpet and embraced Ariana Grande, who looked extremely terrified for her life.
Just imagine a dude running up to her with a sandwich and being like, please,
eat
this.
No, it's just crazy how useless the security guards look in this video. They didn't even try to stop the guy, and he could have definitely taken her life.
It was a 20.
From Pop Culture Junkie, whorish wisdom, best contradiction in terms I've heard in a long time.
Yep, that's good.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't know that that's a contradiction. I imagine there's probably a considerable amount of wisdom that only whores have.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Not saying that you want to acquire this wisdom through
But it doesn't make
application.
it not wisdom.
I want to
Exactly.
show this video of Ariana Grande getting tackled in Singapore.
Here we go.
If you didn't see it last week, there he is. Everyone starts freaking out. In fact, you can see Cynthia Erivo jumping into the fight.
Yeah, she's not going to let this go.
Because Cynthia Erivo has a very strange protectiveness over Ariana Grande.
This person has been known to do
Yes.
this, right? This is like a serial repeat offender.
I believe his real name is Johnson Wen, but he goes by Pajama Man, and he says in his Instagram bio that he is the most hated troll, and he did actually get in trouble with the law for what he did, and I was shocked that he is a serial offender because in Singapore they punish petty criminals harshly.
Put
to
him
say
in
the
jail.
least.
Yeah, just put him in jail.
So they did charge him with being a public nuisance. Weird, because what I saw there in that video was assault. But they gave him 9 days in jail, and he will be fined up to about $1,500 USD. Not harsh enough
Not
of a
nearly harsh
sentence.
enough.
Well, it's not going
if
to
you
prevent
ask
people
me.
from doing stuff like that.
He was also, he stormed the stage at one of Katy Perry's concerts earlier this
That's
year.
the one I remember.
He's done this a lot. He's known for doing this, and yet somehow still walks free after only 9 days behind bars. Anyway, the Wicked press tour is under attack in other ways because these two have such a strange relationship and it's making everyone uncomfortable. Allegedly, Cynthia Erivo recently lost her voice, which meant that she wasn't able to do interviews for Wicked in New York. But Ariana Grande decided to also not do interviews just because she couldn't do the interviews with Cynthia.
She's like, if
in
I can't,
solidarity.
she's like, if I can't be groped while doing this interview, then I want nothing to do with it.
We have a 20 from 214 West Side. Smoking is very cool. Vaping is gay. I agree with you.
S and R2D2's D.
So I guess like these two seem to have some sort of weird like witchcraft voodoo connection to each other, where like if one of them isn't able to speak, the other one can't. And not only that, but the entire cast has gone through an intense physical transformation as the first movie and second movie have been filmed.
Physical transformation.
I mean, basically all of them look like
emaciated and dying.
They're dying. This is Michelle Yeoh, who is in the sequel as well. This quote tweet says, "Not to body shame, but does anyone on the Wicked set eat?" And I shared this photo of Ariana Grande on set. There's proof that she's eating.
Yep.
Look,
Cucumbers.
She's having sliced cucumber for lunch. What, you can't work 17-hour days with 5 slices of cucumber to fuel you?
Bro, no, I can't even get through this show without eating.
I mean, that's a skill issue to me.
Yeah.
And in this collage, you can see the before and after images of Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, and Michelle Yeoh from before Wicked and after. And they all look malnourished and sickly.
Ariana Grande doesn't look as bad as she did on the first press tour. She looked more emaciated in the first press, in my opinion.
It depends on the lighting. It depends on the angles. She definitely looks far different from her former self.
Correct.
In this video, you can see Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande on an interview panel together. And Mark Platt, one of the producers for Wicked, grabs Ariana Grande's wrist and starts shaking it.
Here we go.
Playfully. Okay. And Cynthia Erivo jumps in.
She's like, your arm needs holding.
And she's like, no one's allowed to touch my Ariana. And then she kisses her hand better.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? This is making everyone uncomfortable.
Everybody's uncomfortable. There's 2 20s there.
Oh, we're getting a lot of 20s today.
Yep.
One from No Control. Smoking cigars is cool. Smoking cigarettes makes you look like their British namesake. I disagree. I think both are cool in different ways.
Yeah.
Then we have one from Corey Anderson. I ask for prayers for my wife's grandma who passed yesterday, a day after her 99th birthday. She was the quintessential Southern lady who lived her whole life in Nashville, Tennessee. Rachel, rest easy. Enjoy eternal reward. Love you.
Rest easy, Rachel.
R.I.P. Rachel. We will be praying for your family.
I was at a funeral over the weekend, so I understand.
We have another 20 from Rural Conservative. Phil is 100% right about alcohol. I stopped drinking for Lent last year. Everyone is annoying AF when they're drunk. Also, I've smoked grass a few times, got high once. I wished my friends GF good night in Russian. That's an interesting side effect.
Well, all right then.
I think there's a time and place for the appropriate level of drinking. Of course, I'm not for people getting blackout drunk on any regular basis or at all. In this other interview, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo do what they do best. They start breaking down in tears in front of the interviewer.
Hold, please.
Thank you, guys. First Crisis Party came early today. Thank you.
We appreciate it very much. Ever since I fixed the audio, it's so much louder now.
Yeah.
So it's loud. It's loud as hell right now, and it's not even at full volume. Before it was at full volume and
Yeah, I don't
decently loud, but
what
that was something. Let's continue.
Let's take a look at this clip from this podcast called Dinner with Sally, where they start grabbing each other and crying.
Okay, let's go to widescreen there. Here we go.
Learning how to let it. Pleasure spending time with you. It's good and a pleasure getting to know you. And I hope you will be there for the rest of my life. I will be. And I hope you will be too. And it's been the privilege of my life.
It feels like performance art.
It is. It's some weird social experiment.
It's not real.
Like, what is
And I love
this?
you. And yeah. I
Bro, they finished filming these movies like 2 years ago, didn't they?
hope you'll let my French be one of the things that you're learning how to let it. I just been
This is insane. And the interviewer is just sitting there like, all right, let's move on. And this one take said, maybe I'm crazy, but between Ariana turning into this frightened child version of herself, the tense, pregnant pauses between them, and the way everyone on the cast seems to look completely different than before, I want to be left out of this. Wonderful film, beautiful gowns, but keep me out of your kinks. I feel like I'm in the middle of kinkery. Like, they seem to be having some sort of weird emotional affair together, even though both of them are in separate relationships. Now, I want to point out this specific moment in their body language, where Ariana Grande is in the middle of answering a question on the red carpet, and Cynthia Erivo starts adjusting her necklace
Sistership
for literally no reason.
that continues to grow and grow even through this press tour. Something's bothering her. She's gonna fix something. I know. She's
Well, you can't fix it because you have gigantic nails. You don't really have any dexterity.
she's getting the fixing itch that Cynthia Erivo gets.
It's not there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
She literally just put it back the way it was because it was on perfectly.
Biggest pinch me moment for each of you on the set. Was it the day you arrived on the set or some special
Like,
moment
stop
that
touching
happened
her.
during the
A beautiful.
It's so weird and it's so uncomfortable for everyone involved. Even Ariana Grande looked a little bit uncomfortable there. Now, I wanted to compare
Does
this
she always
with
use her full name?
Who?
She said the she's getting the fix it itch that
Cynthia
Cynthia
Erivo.
Erivo
Yeah.
gets. Like if you're
Yeah.
if I'm actually close with someone, I don't usually use their last name.
No, I don't sit here and call you Phil Labonte every time I refer to you. That is strange.
And
She did that.
I mean it may be a little pretentious, but like I mean, wouldn't she have like a short name that friends would call her? Like I mean, there's only
Cindy?
one.
You're
There's
one
only
of those
one
guys that
person
calls-
in my life that I speak to regularly, where I use like their full name. I call our guitar player Michael all the time, but that's it.
You have any friends you call by their last name?
That's a thing that guys do.
Yeah,
A lot.
I can't think of anyone off the top
I
of my
like
head.
it.
There are multiple
old
people
school.
that,
Yeah.
that kind of go by their last name. Yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to compare that video with this strange video of Dakota Johnson doing an interview with her child co-star and John Hamm. She starts fondling this girl. It's incredibly weird behavior. She's playing with this girl's earring also, putting her finger in it, and John Hamm has to stop her.
being with me from this experience. Will you marry me?
And John Hamm is like, bro, what are you doing?
No, they're using the reality TV tactic
No,
where they
no, no, no.
grab some shot of
I've
him.
seen the unedited clip, and John Hamm literally does grab Dakota Johnson's hand and stop her from fondling this girl's neck and ear. And that is not clever editing. That is just what happened. And then I saw this this
nicest person
body
ever.
language.
It's the other ear
interpretation.
now.
Yeah.
So that was really nice.
creepy.
To work with someone like that. It's hard
It's
to find
creepy,
people who
and
are
he
super
stops her.
talented.
He has to stop her from doing it, and everyone's like, Dakota Johnson, you're a fucking creep.
She was
So
probably on the MDMAs.
there's this.
She was probably on the ecstasy and being weird.
There is this media personality I've become familiar with named Mark Bowden, and he describes himself as a speaking coach, but also like a body language expert. And he reacted to this clip and basically described it as what he would call trophy behavior.
Okay.
Because when you're grabbing someone in these vital areas, like around their neck, these vulnerable areas on their jugular and an erogenous zone like the earlobe, it's almost like what a warrior would do after beheading someone, grabbing them by the hair and flinging their head around like it's a trophy from war.
Okay.
So in a way, what she's doing there is trying to communicate power over this younger co-star in a very creepy way. And everyone knows that it's creepy, but they can't exactly explain why.
Wait, does this mean I have to stop standing Dakota Johnson? I think I have to stop standing Dakota Johnson.
That's why I felt
creepy.
the Cynthia Erivo body language really shows that she feels this sense of possession over Ariana Grande, and Ariana Grande is playing into it by like acting like she's a child, even though they're both women in their 30s.
Yeah.
Anyway, lastly, this is maybe pre-cringe. This is Trisha Paytas at one of the Wicked premieres on the red carpet saying that she would use her wish from The Wizard of Oz to help families affected by SNAP benefit cuts. Can you just go to 20 seconds in for this one?
Yeah.
Just like feed everyone here in America. I feel like I wanted to always feed like kids across the world, but like right here in America too. There's people that are, you know, losing their SNAP benefits, so I would love him to just feed everybody, and hopefully we can do it somehow. I don't know.
And Ariana Grande specifically.
You know what? I'm okay with this. Outside of the SNAP benefit part, one of the universal virtue signals used to be to end world hunger. So you know what? I'm on board.
Let's end Ariana Grande's
There was
hunger.
the left has moved from ending world hunger, right, to ending food deserts and food insecurity.
Yeah.
Because world hunger is actually not a pressing problem. I think like less than 2% or 3% of the population now actually have significant issues with attaining meals. Like it's a very small percentage, and the UN said that they'll end world hunger basically by 2030 or 2035 are the estimations.
About like, why did our parents tell us like to eat our dinner because there were starving kids in Africa? Like, what did that have anything to do with it? The point was that you should be grateful that you have something to eat, therefore you should eat it. But still,
the kind of I think like I can explain the kind of household I grew up in by the fact that my parents always said there are starving children in China, not Africa. They always said there are starving children in China who don't have dinner tonight. You have to eat yours. I thought that was... Yeah, they never said Africa. They always said China because they're communists.
It's like duck, duck, gray duck versus duck, duck, goose.
Anyways, yeah, the Wicked press tour just keeps getting worse and worse. I figured the call to halt their press tour might have not been related to Cynthia Erivo losing her voice. It might have been a decision from the people in charge of promoting the movie.
I will say, though, guys, as weird as all of this is, and it is weird, it's looking to open between $150 and $180 million over 4,000 theaters it's going to open to. And the original, well, not the original, but the last movie opened to $112 million.
It's a cash cow.
And in the Thanksgiving, time period, that's actually really that's going to be good because they're going to hold a lot of box office leverage for several weeks.
I'm just so ready
they're going to make a lot of
for
money
this to be over. I was so devastated when I learned that Wicked was only part 1 and there was going to be a whole nother year of this shit.
Yep.
But I guess it gives us more content to talk about, so we benefit.
All right, let's move on.
So Millie Bobby Brown recently adopted a baby daughter, and there was a lot of pushback to her decision to become a mom at such a young age, and also for her decision to adopt instead of naturally conceiving a child. All of that aside, it seems like her husband, Jake Bon Jovi, is getting a lot of negativity on the timeline lately because they believe that he is not active enough in their child's life, and he has been spotted in multiple paparazzi photos and videos not carrying their child or any of their stuff that they bring with them, like the carrier, the car seat, etc. This is a delicate issue because they're being photographed and recorded all the time, and they're very serious about maintaining their child's privacy. And a lot of Millie Bobby Brown's fans feel that she is responsible for doing all of the work in that regard, based on this evidence. In this first video, you can see Millie walking into a building from their car, threatening paparazzi who are trying to snap photos of her child's face.
Hold on, here we go.
And Jake Bon Jovi is following her behind, but not carrying the child and not staying close to his child either.
Bro's like, I got stuff to do.
And the first response to this, with 12,000 retweets and 279,000 likes, says, her husband is effing useless. To which one other fan responded with these photos from the paparazzi the other day, where Millie is getting out of their car, carrying this huge diaper bag, carrying another huge backpack, and the baby in the baby carrier, while Jake Bon Jovi is carrying nothing. And they said, somebody wake her up, please. It also seems like she's usually the one putting the baby in the stroller, putting the baby in the car when they're getting into a car. He's not really doing much. He's on the sidelines.
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That ain't my kid.
And they're saying, did you all discover that he's a piece of shit now? Only now? With all of this evidence that she is doing all the work for parenting. Another one said, she has been traumatized into thinking she's mature because she's worked and provided for her family since too young of an age, when she's only 21, married with a kid, and I feel like her husband doesn't have the same mindset because he didn't grow up struggling. They're too different.
Stand the people that like think that they have some kind of inside knowledge about a relationship or a family because they saw some pictures from paparazzi.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's a great guy, or I'm not saying that I have any knowledge either, but people that will go and and pontificate and act as if they're some kind of authority on people because they're like, well, I saw some pictures, man. It's like, bro, shut up and get a life.
Yeah, it might totally be the case that Millie is, because she's a new mom, insisting on doing all of these things instead of him, even if he is offered to help. Yeah. That's, I'm sure, something that a lot of men experience.
My girlfriend worries about everything with our baby. Everything.
It's only natural.
Oh, yeah, of course. And I don't fault her for this. But she's she's like, is he breathing? I'm like, yes, he's breathing. She's like, well, I just love him. I'm like, I know you love him. I love him too. And I promise if he were not breathing, I would be reacting differently. I'm just walking around holding him. Is he still breathing? He's breathing, baby. I know you love him. He's breathing. But like, you know, who knows what Millie Bobby Brown is like with the kid. And not to say that she's wrong for any of it either. But people getting emotionally invested in a relationship that they know nothing about because of pictures that they have seen on the internet is straight up insane person behavior. It is insane person behavior.
She's been getting shit ever since they got engaged from people. Everything she does is highly scrutinized. I would agree with just the assertion that they're probably very different people with different approaches to life, because Jake Bon Jovi is a Nepo kid. He basically doesn't work in any serious way, probably never has. Millie Bobby Brown, on the other hand, has worked to financially provide for her family since she was like 11 or 12 years old. So I assume that they have very different mindsets and value systems, and they're going to need to work to navigate those differences between them. People are also pointing out that according to Millie Bobby Brown's account of how they met and started dating, she was the one who showed interest first when he wasn't really thinking about dating her. She's the one who pursued him, and perhaps this is how she ended up in a situation where she's more invested in their family dynamic than he seems to be. Again, we don't know any of the details of their relationship.
Yeah, he would have to.
And people are using this, like these stills from paparazzi, to say like, this is what it's like to date or marry a man or have a child with a man in 2025, when it has nothing to do with that.
Well, yeah,
or society.
You could tell that the people that were talking about this were going to immediately extrapolate from this onto all men.
Yeah.
It isn't even fair to extrapolate onto all of just Jake Bon Jovi, because you've seen 8 seconds of their entire life. But if I was him, I'd be like, babe, I get it, but you're going to need to let me carry the baby in public sometimes, because my stock is dropping.
Just the fact that they decided to start a family at the age that they are, I find impressive.
They're both early 20s, right?
Yes.
She's, I believe, 21. I think they're both about the same age. Yeah, so they're quite young. That's something that most people their age wouldn't do.
How old is John Bon Jovi?
I find it impressive.
He's probably in his 60s now, right? Bon Jovi?
I just saw that Ashley Tisdale, by the way, decided, she made the announcement that she's deciding to change her public name to Ashley French to reflect her marital name, which she legally took, but now it's going to be her stage name. Like, her performing name is going to be Ashley French, and people are also giving her shit for that, because just any way that your life may change once you're married or have kids is somehow demeaning. Yeah. Like people are saying, like, you know, diva down, like this is so sad. Like, we thought that we were going to keep the old Ashley Tisdale.
What does it even mean, you weirdo?
Like they feel emotionally attached to her name more than she does.
Stan culture is the most toxic aspect of American pop culture. It really is.
Like,
it's the
she's
most
in her
parasocial.
40s.
It's the most parasocial out of all of them.
And they're like, oh my gosh, like Sharpay would never do this. Like, the character that she played in High School Musical 20 years ago? Yeah, I guess not. And, you know, I think a lot of this air of resentment comes from the circles of social media where moms commune, specifically. Like, these are the most toxic places on the internet. They judge each other for everything. They commiserate with each other in a way that's totally destructive. They promote, you know, neuroticism. It's just, like, I was reminded of this because I saw this tweet the other day that said mom groups are 90% a negative influence, even the Christian ones. Mostly a complaining roundtable. They encourage each other to do less. Just getting dressed in the morning is an achievement, and similar talk. Husband bashing is common. Most still have complexes with their own mothers that they impose onto their children. Stay away from these groups or peek in and see for yourself.
I mean, the number one
true.
there is, first of all, the husband bashing is awful, but the just getting up in the morning is enough is like, that's the scourge on society right now. Like, you know, just the fact that you're alive and breathing is enough, and you should feel validated by it. Now,
Yeah.
I do believe that there is a point where you should be grateful for everything that you have, but that doesn't mean you just sit there in your own slop and exist. It means that
Right.
you have to continue forward while holding a feeling of gratitude towards all that you have in life. But instead, it's more used as a way to just kind of put off doing anything and just being like, oh, you know what? I got out of bed today. That's enough.
There are basically two camps on
Guys, first of all, I will say, like, women, that's not acceptable, but more understandable. Dudes should never take that mindset. Like, that's really sad.
There are basically two camps on mommy social media, where one is saying no matter what choice you make, it's valid and you deserve to be applauded for just existing. And the other side of the mommy social media says everything you do is wrong.
Can we find a middle ground?
It would be great if we could find a middle ground. But it's like the one camp of moms saying, like, yeah, feed them, you know, red dye 40 and put them in front of Coco Melon. You're doing your best, queen. And then the other side of social media for moms says, like, if you didn't free birth in a river, you're a failure as a mother. And like all of the women that are deeply entrenched in these social media communities take it incredibly seriously, and they let people that they don't know change their entire mindset about their own families.
Those are just different types of human toxicity, though. One is the nothing is ever good enough, you're a failure. The other one is pretending that bad doesn't exist and just you know, toxic positivity on the internet.
Or just like pretending that some things can't be better than other things. For instance, the huge controversy around whether you breastfeed or formula feed. It's like this huge thing that they argue about constantly. And the one side says, fed is best, mama, you're doing amazing. And breastfeeding isn't better than formula feeding. That's objectively not true. But then the other side says, if you don't breastfeed, you're a piece of shit failure of a mom. Like, can we just be reasonable for like 2 seconds?
That's not what the internet is for. Like, that's not what the internet is for.
No.
Everybody in this space, especially if it starts to monetize and build a following for yourself, you're incentivized to become more out there and more incredulous with your views. You're expected to become more radical.
But that, I don't disagree with that, right? That the algorithm does incentivize people to make content that polarizes people. But at the same time, most of what we're talking about is the response from people that are not creators. Most of this conversation is about the stands and the people that are
where do they
watching
get those
this content
ideas from? They likely got them from creators.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that they react emotionally, and then they're like, oh, this is, you know, this is the way things are supposed to be. This is what I see. This is the way I see things. And if you don't, then you're a bad person, and they have this emotional reaction. It's
very hard for a creator in the space to stay above water if they don't start to become more radical. You have to be very well spoken and have very, very nuanced opinions, and you have to kind of find an audience that wants that. The rest of it, from what you're talking about, just individuals on the internet, that is the product of talking to people you have no human connection with in the real world, right? You would, if you had a best friend, you know, your best friend since childhood has a kid and has to bottle feed once in a while. You're not gonna be like, you know what, best friend since 3rd grade, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Like, you're a piece of shit because you won't do what I say, right? You'll give them leeway. But the internet doesn't allow for leeway because you're not talking to somebody as if they're a human being.
Well, even in real life, people silently judge you for all kinds of things, but they would never have the guts to say it to your face.
That's a good thing. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Or
not
you know
every
what?
idea you have must be shared with everyone.
Share it. You know what? If you want to talk behind their back, that is also your human right. Not everything needs to be shared with someone. the most annoying person on the internet is the person who just wants to be a dick, but talks about it as if it's creative, criticism, as it's constructive criticism, though it's rarely couched in those terms.
Yeah, this is...
You know the person who's good at giving you constructive criticism, and they don't have that bone in their body, but the one who just wants to be a jerk for the sake of being a jerk loves to criticize without any sort of decorum.
This is adjacent to the I want to have sex with toasters idea. Right, like
Yeah.
in the normal world, if you're a person that's like, man, I want to have sex with toasters, no one around you agrees, and they're gonna say, if you tell someone, they're gonna say, that's weird, shut up and knock it off. But with the internet, you're gonna go and be like, I want to have sex with toasters, and you're gonna Google it, and there's gonna be a Reddit thread with 1,000 people that say, man, I want to have sex with toasters too,
And this is
so they're
normal
gonna be like, this is
and valid,
normal.
and
Yeah,
people
exactly.
need to accept us for wanting to have toasters.
So.
Time to normalize.
And so with this, in this context, it's, someone wants to say something critical, they say something critical, and then there's 500 people that like it or what have you, and people that valorize your criticism, and so it's like, oh, I must be right, so I should continue to make these remarks, blah blah blah. So
All
definitely.
right, let's move on. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Cringe, please make it go away.
Cringe first. Today's is a Chelsea handler on Call Her Daddy.
Oh great,
Cringe.
we get to listen to her talk about masturbating or something stupid.
No, worse.
Worse.
Only
Hold, please.
clean your hot spots, your vag, your butt, and your armpits. Is that
This
true?
has become an issue.
Yeah.
I don't know why my legs would be dirty. They're covered up all day in my jeans. And they're not out. You know what I mean? My legs aren't going out without me.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty, like, I showered the day before also. And when I lather my hair with shampoo and conditioner, there is a lot of lather. And that drips down my body, cascades over my voluptuous breasts, onto my navel, and then down to my Pikachu. And my hot spots, which are, well, there's 4, you know what they are.
Yes.
As long as I get in there, I can take less than a 3-minute shower. And I often do. I should wash my hair.
Isn't that called a Navy shower?
Because that's
It
like,
takes me 3 minutes just to brush my teeth, and I brush my teeth in the shower.
not washing my hair doesn't feel clean. You know what I mean?
There's no point to a shower if you're not really
Right.
washing your
Then
ear.
you're kind of like sweaty, gross all day. And so I get in, I wash my Pikachu, I wash my asshole, and I wash my underarms, and which has been hard lately because I can't lift my right shoulder. So getting under this armpit, I can actually smell it right now. It's not, and I never smell.
You smell amazing and you look amazing. I'm going to be honest, I do the same thing.
You don't wash your legs?
I have no reason to wash my kneecaps. I have no reason to like get the back of the calf. Like I don't
Get back of the calf. I mean, honestly, like I'm getting the back of the calf.
I'm
What
actually
about
angry
shaving?
now.
Doesn't that count for something? Isn't that
That's
clean?
true. And that's like once a week.
But your legs are so skinny. I mean, you shouldn't be washing them. What are they collecting dirt? I mean, it's so stupid. But
She
That
doesn't
was-
look amazing though. That's the problem. She was lied to.
That is very emblematic of women interacting, but your legs are so skinny. Had to throw that like kind of BS compliment in, like you're a goddess, blah blah blah. Like how this is something that is appealing to anyone. I don't understand.
I guess I don't know. I thought for a while, oh my God,
sometimes
maybe
you-
I really don't know how to shower. But then
You don't. Not inherently. You don't.
Sometimes, you just run out of things to talk about on a podcast, and maybe that's a sign that you should stop.
Yeah.
Like, cut the cameras.
That's I mean, that's there's totally a world where one day she's doing this podcast and this some conversation of this nature happens again, and she just puts the microphone aside and
She's like,
"It's
"It's time
up
to
and
walk
leaves
away."
and just says, "You know what? I'm gonna ride off into the sunset."
We have a 20 from Kyle Dixon. I was discussing the concept of toaster effers with a coworker yesterday. He agreed toaster effers were disgusting, but then said, on the other hand, those hot dog toaster ovens are attractive. Yikes. Okay, so there's a spectrum now.
Well, you know what?
Toaster sexuality.
The hot dog toaster oven was dressed a little slutty.
Ooh.
And
Yeah, actually, the debate about whether you should wash your legs is incredibly controversial and oftentimes used to say that white people specifically don't
I saw that in the
don't
comments.
wash their legs, and that means white people are disgusting and unhygienic.
All right, let's do cute of the day. let's have something to make up for what the hell you just put us through.
Personally, though, I wash my legs. I'm just going to say it.
This one is from Ten Zappa. Says, Ludwig, the mayor of Muletown, November photo shoot posted for your approval. I would submit other puppers if I had more pets, but he is my ride or die canine. Oh my gosh, that's an amazing photo.
Very cute.
That's a very cute photo.
He's
He's washing everything.
Yeah.
If the dog can.
Look at him washing his legs. Very cute.
Very cute.
Thank you for that. Palette cleanser there, which we desperately needed.
We did. Let's move on.
A top-earning OnlyFans creator named Ariel Kitsia was recently invited to speak to students at the University of Washington in a psychology class. The professor responsible for inviting Ariel to speak to her students is named Nicole, it's Nicole K. McNichols, okay? And she is a PhD sex professor at the University of Washington and the author of a book called You Could Be Having Better Sex. So this is the person teaching psychology at this school. And instead of inviting, you know, someone with actual thoughts on the relevant topic, they invited Ariel Kitsia to talk about human sexuality and her specific line of work as a digital sex worker. Now, I couldn't find a recording of the talk that she gave or the Q&A portion that she gave to the students online. It doesn't seem to be published anywhere. But Dr. Nichols posted this on her TikTok saying, POV, my 1,200 students and I manifesting that Ari Kitsia visits class. And then there it is. It happened.
Is that this one here?
Yep, and she posted all about this. One of the students posted about it saying, Ari talking about how someone asked her to shit in a box for $10K.
Yeah,
Sounds like something you should pay, you know, $40,000 a year to hear about, right? Definitely worth the investment and putting yourself into debt slavery to listen to Ariel talk about being paid to shit in a box.
I wonder if like any student has ever like 20 years later been like, I remember in that one sex class I took, it's come in handy. How often does that happen?
The expertise
Never.
of the OnlyFans star.
They're like, I wouldn't have known what to do, but then this happened, and then
I'm sure.
Okay, are we supposed to listen to this, or are we just gonna?
No,
okay.
we don't have any recording of her speech that she gave to the students, unfortunately. So we're not going to learn from any of her whorish wisdom. Thank
Mic
you.
drop.
Thank you for
Mic
the second
drop.
party, guys.
Thank you, guys.
And here we are dancing for money, the hypocrites we are.
Clothes on, though.
Clothes on, to be fair.
Okay.
One of the replies said, we're living in a society where teachers get fired for having an OnlyFans, but influencers get praised for it. The hypocrisy is insane. So can we live in a society where teachers get fired for having an OnlyFans, but influencers also don't get invited to institutions of higher education to speak to 18-year-olds about doing digital prostitution? Like, I would like to live in that society.
How do you steal man? How do you steal man? Are they talking about college? Because first of all, are they talking about college professors or are they talking about high school teachers?
This person is saying it's unjust for someone in the education profession to be fired for having an OnlyFans, regardless of the age of their students.
But what I'm saying here is that, okay, I don't know if such a thing exists, if there are college professors that have OnlyFans.
I'm sure there
somehow I imagine that that is true, right? So, you know, if we're talking about high school teachers, yeah, fired. Absolutely. College professors, then the question is, does that university have specific rules against it? Mary's point is more to her morality on the subject, right? Like, you don't want either of them, but they're acting as if everybody lives by the same rule books when not even every university has the same guidelines for what their classes are. I fully believe that there's probably some professor of sex at college who also has an OnlyFans, who teaches the psychology of sexuality and also does that. But that doesn't mean that every university is going to have the same standards. They're taking two things that are not connected and then making some type of moral argument out of it.
Dr. Nicole looks like the most unsexy person ever, ironically. And I looked at her website earlier. She describes herself as a sex educator. She says, I'm a sex educator and I want to tell you about my first time. Not my first time having sex,
I'm
but
not interested.
my first time teaching human sexuality. Years ago, just 2 weeks before the quarter began, the professor scheduled to teach the class broke her leg. An SOS went out across the department begging for someone to take over. The response was crickets. No one was willing or crazy enough to step in. I was new, eager, and maybe just reckless enough to say yes. So in a very Katniss Everdeen moment, I offered myself as tribute, and I've never looked back. And she now has a book for sale called You Could Be Having Better Sex, The Definitive Guide to a Happier, Healthier, and Hotter Sex Life. And ironically, I think Ariel Kitsia is more critical of her own profession than Dr. Nicole would be, someone who doesn't have an OnlyFans. I've actually seen Ariel's videos come up on my Instagram feed before. She doesn't do any like overt advertising for her adult content on Instagram. She more is a lifestyle influencer. She does get ready with me videos and normal stuff like that, because it seems increasingly the OnlyFans fame is a launch pad for mainstream fame, becoming a mainstream influencer or celebrity.
I mean,
rather than the other way around.
Well, it used to be the other way around, right? You got mainstream celebrity, and then when you wanted to go work for yourself, you pivoted to OnlyFans because you built the fan base ahead of time. That's what the pro wrestling women do. They make it. You be Mandy Rose, you get millions of followers working for WWE, and then when you start your own OnlyFans, I think she's on a different site. Then you're just like, okay, they're going to follow me over here.
It used to be that you build your platform from something else and then pivot to OnlyFans. Now it seems the tables have turned, and OnlyFans opens up opportunities for mainstream success. Ariel has gotten major sponsorships before with L'Oreal and huge beauty brands, and that garnered a lot of controversy as well. She's in a public relationship with Young Gravy, the rapper, who also, in fact, has an OnlyFans. I imagine that's why he's okay with her having one. And in this article I read about Ariel, it featured these photos that she shared for her L'Oreal campaign. She is their first adult creator in a collab with the brand. Called Battle the Bland. This was the campaign that they featured her in, with 18 plus million views on TikTok. Critics say it blurs lines for younger audiences and contradicts the brand's ethical guidelines. For creators, it's a live demonstration of where visibility meets backlash. When a spicy creator lands a mainstream brand deal, it shouldn't be controversial. It's proof their influence is undeniable, even to industries that once turned their backs.
Yeah.
And it would have been unthinkable just a handful of years ago for a porn star to get a brand sponsorship with that level of visibility and the paycheck involved. Now, I wanted to share a couple of videos that Ariel has posted on her Instagram in the past. One of them is where she shares the details of all the plastic surgery and cosmetic procedures that she has gotten done to fit the OnlyFans beauty standard, basically. She's trying to be transparent about the fact that she is not natural.
Okay.
Those that are like, name one girl that's naturally pretty. Natural.
Oh God, she's got a lot of tattoos.
Guys, I have my nose done, my lips done, I have chin lipo, I have chin filler, I have Botox in my face, I have Botox in my traps, I have the girls done, I have lipo 360, my hair is fake, my nails are fake. I wear makeup in every single video, and if I'm not wearing makeup, I'm wearing a filter, and even if I am wearing makeup, I usually have a filter on, so there's nothing really natural here, unfortunately. I'm so sorry, but thank you.
Okay.
She did mention Botox in her trap.
Muscles. What is Botox in your traps about?
Well, because it paralyzes your muscles, it will stop you from flexing those muscles, and it makes them smaller. Yeah.
Why?
That's I assume why she did it. It makes your shoulders seem narrower, smaller, more feminine, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a laundry list of cosmetic procedures and surgeries that she's gotten done, and people have praised her for being so open and transparent about this. Thanking her for her honesty and her realness and her humble persona.
the realness
of her fakeness.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so real that you're fake, and that you tell everyone how fake you are.
I have no problem with people that get procedures or what have you. I just have a problem with her tattoos. They're the worst.
She has a lot of tattoos.
And they're
Yes,
dumb.
that's true.
I hate how like there are a lot of people that have young people that have tattoos on them that look like someone just
Doodles.
like put a bunch of stickers on them.
Yeah, it's like stamps.
Like you let your 5-year-old nephew just put stickers all over you that they got.
We have talked about like the differences in how
Hate it.
Zoomers get tattoos compared to
them.
millennials and older generations, and they have boiled it down to like economic factors. So like Zoomers will spend small amounts on small doodly tattoos that
So
are
it's
less
literally-
intricate
so it's
because they don't have as
literally-
much income.
It's literally socioeconomic factors.
Yes, but they're also more likely to regret their tattoos quicker than older generations.
All my everyone that I know that has tattoos, they didn't go for like 1 or 2. They got a lot of work done, and they had like a plan for all of it. Like it's intricate, it's detailed, and it actually represents something. And none of them that I know regret any of the tattoos that they've gotten. They've kind of just live with it, and it doesn't really bother them. And they're still getting them like in their late 30s. Like they started in their 20s, and because we were all poor at that time, it took a long time to
You had
build
to
out the
give
work
it a
that
lot
they
of
had done.
thought beforehand.
Basically, they would describe it just like strategically, like, okay, if I wear a t-shirt most of the year, I can start shoulders and up, and it's covered up, and then it got more intricate over time.
Sure.
And then before it made it to the full arms and stuff like that. So
Well, speaking of regrets, Ariel has shared several videos that went viral on her Instagram talking about the risks and consequences of becoming an OnlyFans creator. She has actually advised her female followers not to follow in her footsteps. And I have to give her credit where it's due.
Pulling that ladder up behind her.
This was her video that I saw earlier
20
this
then.
year, sharing all of the negative consequences that could follow from you joining OnlyFans.
There's a
we
20
have a
there,
20
yep.
from Gaten J. Hi, White Lady, Wizard, and Warrior. I think I'm the White Lady.
Clearly.
Hi.
Clearly, I'm the
Hello.
white lady.
does that mean that I'm the wizard? Because that's cool.
I don't know. I kind of assumed I was the wizard, but all right.
Yeah, you can be the warrior.
All right, then.
All right, let's listen.
Again. You do not need to be a bop right when you turn 18. This is something that I never see bigger creators in the SW community or the bop community talk about. So let's really talk about it.
Bop.
When you're 18, you're deciding what you want to do with the rest of your life. Something that being a bop can do is take away the freedom to decide what you want to do with the rest of your life. I thought when I was 18 I wanted to do music. Then I wanted to do art. Then I wanted to do graphic design.
To be fair, all of those things would probably be okay with you doing what you do now.
Sure.
Then I wanted to...
Like, she's not saying I wanted to work in finance or I wanted to be like a real estate agent. And even real estate agents these days have to whore themselves out in their videos, so...
be a hairstylist. Then I wanted to do social media. Notice how many times what I wanted to do with my life changed. But once you do this job, there may be a chance you don't have the option to change what you want to do. Because people are not very accepting of this job, unfortunately. One of my problems with a lot of the bigger creators in this community is that they are not transparent about stuff. Not calling out anyone specifically, don't try and guess in the comments. They don't post about any of the negatives of this job. And they only post cars and houses and money and going on trips. I feel like that's been a really big trend in the community recently. A lot of creators also post as if they make like real movies, you know? When in reality, all they post is like fully covered stuff on their sites. So now you have a bunch of impressionable girls thinking, oh, they're doing that. The person I look up to is doing that. So now I'm gonna do that. When the person that they've been looking up to doesn't even do it themselves. It's also really hard to make money in this industry because it's hard to grow a following and you need one to make money. And to the girls who are young who already have a following on social media, try just being an influencer first. I can't do that now. Before I started posting about what I do for work, I got lots of brand deals. Then, ripped away. I've literally had companies say, sorry, we won't work with you. Your content doesn't align with our values. So even when it comes to being an influencer, that might be taken away from you too. If you're young and you want to do this job, try something else first. Just try anything. Try something. And to the creators who glamorize this job without educating, this job might be great for you. It's great for me. It might not be the best for the people that you're pushing it onto. I know people say bops shouldn't have opinions, but that's mine.
Okay.
And by bop, she means a hoe. That's the Zoomer language to call someone a thought or a hoe, because they're bopping their head up and down.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if any of those thoughts are ones that were included in her lecture at the
Yeah.
University of Washington, but I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that
She's like, just because you're going into 6-figure debt doesn't mean that you need to take the path I took.
No, yeah, exactly. I hope that she included at least a somewhat balanced take on what she does for a living.
You would hope, like if like I would expect, back in the day, I feel like the expectation is you'd see that on the college campus and not on the social media posts. I would hope that it's not backwards and she's giving the balanced take on social media and then giving it the hard sell, for lack of a better word, while on the college campus.
And contrast what she's saying here with the L'Oreal campaign. We're only paying attention to the L'Oreal campaign because it's the one that she didn't have revoked, right? I'm sure she lost out on a lot of opportunities that we just don't know about, which is what she said here.
Yep.
And even all of those non-traditional career paths that she was thinking about before OnlyFans that included like art and cosmetics and influencer stuff, mainstream influencer stuff. Like, I think that she's pointing out most OnlyFans creators benefit from hiding the harsh realities of what they do because they have affiliate links. And when you have that on OnlyFans, you get a percentage of the earnings of every creator that is signed up under your link. Yep. So, of course, they're not going to be transparent about the downsides of what they do.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, Happy Thrashing Wednesday, Brett, Mary, and Phil. I stand with Camelot. Homie got done dirty. Phil, can I get a let's go for my birthday tomorrow?
Let's go! All right.
Happy early birthday, Shane. Yeah, we were debating whether even to talk about the Camelot thing, but since you brought it up,
yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
YouTube is basically stealing money from people's channels.
Yeah, not good.
Look into it for yourself.
We
if
are
you're
going
interested.
to, I mean, Camelot's going to be on the show tomorrow.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
That's a good opportunity to bring that up too. Yeah. It's been a while. When was the last time he was on? It was sometime last year.
It had to be last year because he was
in
already
the old studio.
He was already racing at that point. I'd have to double check, but it was about a year ago.
The Manic Mustache said, "What makes defending a grizzly bear with your bare hands even cooler? Smoking a celebratory cigarette afterwards. Hashtag stay toxic, my friends." Yeah. Have you done that? Have you fought off a grizzly bear with your bare hands?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Cool. Santos Chavez, already read that one earlier.
Do one more.
Zach Hates YouTube said, I gotta ask, Phil, are you multitasking on your computer or something? I ask because you are looking down for 90% of the show anytime you're on instead of looking at Brett and Mary.
Reading the chat, man.
Yeah. And that's usually what it's like on IRL anyways. It's single camera switching, so you don't always know where somebody's looking. That's just the way it is.
He's keeping a close eye on all of you, so be on your best behavior,
right.
Okay?
Exactly.
I'm watching you complain about things that you have no reason to complain about.
Let's hold off on the rest and let's come back after. Let's move on.
We've talked about Jeffree Star on the show before because he used to be known for his makeup brand and his YouTube channel and being friends with all of the biggest YouTubers. But these days, he has made his exodus from Hollywood, now lives in the middle of Wyoming on a yak ranch where he sells yak meat. And he is living a new lifestyle that comes with also an evolved worldview. And on a recent podcast appearance with the Skinny Confidential, Jeffree Star went on a rampage against the TQ part of the LGBTQ community because he used to identify as such and no longer does. This description says, join us as we sit down with Jeffree Star, entrepreneur, beauty mogul, digital powerhouse, and founder of Jeffree Star Cosmetics. He's built one of the most disruptive and influential brands in beauty and redefining what it means to be a creator-led empire. From dominating pop culture to becoming one of YouTube's biggest beauty moguls, amassing billions of views and a cult-like following, Jeffree has never shied away from being himself and speaking truth. In this episode, Jeffree opens up about building his brand from the ground up, scaling it into a global phenomenon, navigating cancel culture, and shares his unfiltered takes on modern issues, discusses his move to Wyoming, and gives a glimpse into what life is really like on the Yak Star Ranch. So he kind of is positioning himself with the anti-woke crowd in this interview. Firstly, I'm going to show a clip of him talking about the pro-trans parents that encourage their kids to medically and socially transition, because as he grew up, as he puts it, in the 90s, he was, you know, an effeminate kid, and he would play with makeup and do his hair. And his mom, according to his account, never encouraged him to take on any sort of new identity or pronouns or go under any surgeries or anything like that. But these days, he says if he grew up in modern times, he definitely would have been encouraged to identify as female.
Here we go.
Why are we putting in cartoons trans flags and all this stuff that and that's my personal opinion. I don't agree with it. I think it's too young. I don't agree with 8-year-olds wearing makeup either. It was never sexualized and weird, and like, why does a 5-year-old watching a Netflix cartoon show need to know about that right now? Why? And then let's just really take it there.
Let's take it there.
Why are we encouraging our kids to be a different gender and feed them false information when they're so young? So this is what I said recently that people really understood. When I grew up and I started looking different, right? My mother encouraged me to just be myself. When I started wearing makeup and being more feminine and wanting to do certain things, it wasn't, oh my God, Jeffree needs, what do they call it now? Gender affirming care. I'm done. She let me be myself. She didn't push me to be anything. Just like when you're a tomboy, did your mom try to, get you a surgery to be a, you know what I mean? Did she cut your tits off because at 13? No. So nowadays, it's all these fucking weirdos telling their kids, oh my God, you like a Barbie? You're a woman. No, that's just a little boy experimenting, not knowing what the fuck he's doing.
So Jeffree's always like had this weird, been in this interesting place, weird place, whatever you want to call it, where yeah, he dresses like a woman, but he's never come across as particularly feminine.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's super business minded. He's super assertive and confrontational.
Yeah, he doesn't come across as feminine. He comes across as very drag queeny, but
not even really.
Like I've had a couple interactions with Jeffree, and he's always been super cool. Like I've got nothing negative or bad to say about him, but like he's never come across to me as feminine. He's just come across as like a gay dude that likes to dress up as a woman. Like he's always been very much a dude, you know?
When was it that you interacted with him?
That was a long time ago. Like I probably
during his music career.
Probably. I think so. Yeah. Okay. He used. I have a photographer friend that used to be super good friends with him. I think they had a falling out because of the photographer friend is fairly leftist, and and Jeffree isn't really particularly on the left. But yeah, like we were totally cool. Or he was totally cool, and and very guy-like though. Definitely like a gay guy, but not like a feminine. Not very feminine at all.
Yeah, he's a fascinating individual. He's an outdoorsman, an entrepreneur, super driven, obviously intelligent. And it's just funny that someone who looks like Jeffree has to tell people that they're effing weirdos in 2025. Like, I'm glad the battlegrounds have been drawn here. But why is Jeffree Star the one who has to say it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I like it because it speaks more to the fact that human beings contain multitudes and the labels just end up hampering you. Like, that made a lot more sense because classification can be an enemy to people when they try to put everything into a box, and accepting that you are who you are, whatever that may entail, doesn't change your biology. Seems like the rational course of action, but seems to be more and more irrational to people these days.
Speaking of the labels, in this next clip, he says that the TQ plus needs to be dropped off of the acronym, and he has a theory that these identities became way more popular during COVID.
Here we go.
Can only be a man, a woman, or trans. I am not gay. I am just open and very me. There's obviously a lot of gay people out there that only like a certain thing.
He's not gay.
That's great.
He says he's not
is
gay.
it. Q and T, get off the alphabet, sweetie. You should be in your own category. Okay? Let me break it down for you straights. Lesbian, gay, and bi. Is that not a sexuality?
That's a sexuality, yes.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
What you think your identity is has nothing to do with what you're sexually attracted to. So why is T and Q on LGB? Fuck that means. LGB, gay, lesbian, and bi. That is your preference of
he might
who
be
you
bi.
are attracted to.
He might be bi. That's why he's not
and
gay.
what you like. Your identity issues and who you think you are is so separate. I don't agree that they should be together. You can only be a
So he's
man.
basically saying that your, sexual preferences should not define who you are. And he did say that he's not gay. Interestingly, he was in a very long-term relationship with a man up until around COVID time. So like before he was famous and rich, they were together. After he was famous and rich, then they break up. He's all alone in this ghastly, huge mansion in Calabasas. Like, you cannot believe this. It's ginormous, unbelievable. And then he decides to leave California for Wyoming and never looks back. Gets rid of all his Birkins and everything that he's collected over the years, and focuses on his farm with his yaks. And now he has, at least according to what the public knows, been single since then. And in this next clip, he talks about the phenomenon of males who identify as female entering women's restrooms and how, the conversation around that has changed in the last 10 years.
Okay.
Nowadays, we have grown men with beards wearing dresses going into the women's restroom. When I was younger, any normal person that felt like they were born in the wrong body was trying to be passable, and they were really wanting to live their life as a woman. And if you really think psychologically you were born in the wrong body, unfortunately, it's like a mental illness. But people hear illness and they just have a full spiral. So this new age of weirdos and predators trying to pretend they're trans or pretend they're this and harm women and children, that's my issue. So there is this piece of shit named Lily Tino who is pretending to be trans and recently went into the women's restroom at Disneyland. Disneyland's for children. Yes, there's adults that like Disney. We know that. And the camera's rolling.
Problem is there's more adults that like it nowadays than kids.
I'm sorry, there's a 7-year-old that just walked behind you. Why the fuck are you in a little training bra and lipstick, clearly with a man's voice, in the women's restroom filming? Rage bait, attention, these things did not exist 10 years ago. So people love to misconstrue what I said, and that's really what I meant. And I think that we should be protecting women and children at all costs these days with so many weirdos out there on the internet.
Okay.
Go off, Jeffree.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, this stuff was happening 10 years ago. That's why it's happening now.
Yeah, it was less intense, but I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I really think that one of the worst things that's happened to the West in general was the massive changes that happened to Tumblr. When they could all be on Tumblr and they could just, just sit there.
Sectored them off and left them there.
Yeah, affirm each other's dysfunction. The world was a better place.
I saw a clip of Jonathan Haidt recently talking about Tumblr and how these ideologies really took off with a young female audience on Tumblr starting in 2012 or 2013. So it's been going on for much longer than Jeffree seems to realize. It's just, it caught his attention recently. And I recall that after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Jeffree Star was going live on TikTok like every day talking about it. And he was getting huge pushback from his audience for literally just condemning the murder of an innocent man. And he has doubled down on that and defended his comments in support of Charlie Kirk.
Here we go.
And it's inauthentic.
When Charlie Kirk got assassinated, I just organically, like I always do, said how I felt, and I had no idea it was going to be received so great and also so awful. It was such a weird dichotomy of like
awful in the way that like people. I mean,
yeah, like some people, because at the end of the day, the people that unfollowed me, I'm
that in that way, okay.
Yeah, like they saw a 20-second clip, well, so I got a lot of Charlie Kirk would have hated you. I'm like, because he didn't agree with certain things. Yeah, that's not who he was. So a lot of people were like, I'm unfollowing you because you posted rest in peace. That shows a lot about them. That's really, really sad.
What?
So I lost 120,000 followers, gained 500,000 more. And that wasn't ever my plan.
Conservatives are like, I like the cut of his jib.
Organically found out about it and was just like really, really shook and disgusted by the whole scenario. So yeah, a lot of people, they saw, I think like, a little tiny clip of him on TikTok or Instagram, and they just thought he was something he completely wasn't. Very
like
misunderstood.
I get shit for this, but that stat you just shared about losing 100 and gaining 500, I've been saying for years, like for some reason we gave the loudest.
Okay.
And
So usually what happens when these unusual suspects start saying anti-woke things is conservatives jump over into their fan base.
I always liked Jeffree Star.
And they say things like that, like, oh, I always knew Jeffree Star had a good head on his shoulders. And I'm literally the only person, I feel, who always liked Jeffree. I always saw that he was smarter than the people that were around him, especially when he was in the mainstream YouTuber space. Like, the people around him were brain dead twerps. And he always seemed to just be like thinking on a higher level than them about the long term, not just short term fame. Hence why he built a business out of it, and a lot of them failed to do that at the time.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I did always like the cut of Jeffree's jib, and you know, he's an unusual person, no doubt, and he looks unusual because he is unusual, and there's nothing like, you know, I'm not saying that like everyone should be like Jeffree.
Yeah.
Jeffree doesn't think everyone should be like Jeffree. He would say that.
Yeah. Gender politics has made the world feel kind of malleable to a lot of people, because stuff that was just common sense 15 years ago isn't common sense anymore. And Jeffree Star represented kind of the outskirts of common sense, meaning that it made sense in a way that wasn't really something you understood. Like, it still adhered to the rules of the world. It just didn't adhere to the typical rules of society.
Yeah, and I think Jeffree was always fine with being subcultural.
Yes.
Which a lot of people were not willing to settle for.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, my dad quit both drinking and smoking at different times like a boss. He just woke up, said, nah, I'm good, and never touched either again.
Yeah, I did the same.
Sometimes that happens.
Well, yeah.
Was it the same for you?
Well, I mean, I quit both at different times. And like, even like whether to say that I quit drinking, like I had a champagne a year ago.
At the election.
Yeah. And I haven't had any booze since. And prior to that, I hadn't had any drinks since 2017, or like, I think the last time I had a drink was 2018. And then I didn't have anything to drink until, like I said, the election last year. So to say that I quit drinking might not be exactly true, because like I said, I had a drink last year, but I haven't had anything to drink since, and I don't drink regularly.
Did you know that you were going to drink that night beforehand, or it was just kind of a spur of the moment thing?
Yeah, it was just kind of a spur of the moment thing. And like I said, it wasn't like I had a bunch of drinks. I had champagne, I had champagne. It wasn't like I drank multiple. And I haven't had anything to drink since. So for me, booze wasn't the same thing that like cigarettes were. Like, I don't know that, like, I definitely wouldn't have a Marlboro now because they're way too good, you know. But I have had, you know, cigars.
Right.
So everything is okay in moderation, I think.
Well, not everything, but
yeah,
cigarettes and alcohol, I would agree with that.
Yeah, most things are okay in moderation.
Yeah. Robert Delara said, no matter how bad Jake Bon Jovi is as a dad, I don't think David Harbour is going to be asked to babysit. No, I wouldn't trust him. The Manic Mustache said, my wife, did you hear that? Me, hear what? My wife, exactly, our baby just stopped breathing. The difference between man and wife. Well, did the baby actually stop breathing in that moment, or was she just thought that the baby stopped breathing?
Really, like, it is a relative term. Like, did he stop because he's about to inhale again?
Yeah.
Like, you know, or did he stop and now he's turning blue? Because that matters. That distinction is important. So.
Technically, we all stop breathing.
That's right.
Many, many times a day. Okay, username I'm not going to read said, women are the biggest problem in society. I mean, they cause a lot of the biggest problems in society. I don't think they themselves are intrinsically a problem.
The biggest problem, men that gave women rights are the biggest problem in society.
You could argue that as well.
Someone allowed women to
voting,
ascend to,
I don't think voting is like
which is
all right.
Yeah, well, look, that's why I don't think the whole like, oh, get rid of the 19th Amendment. That's not good enough. That's not enough. There's still too many people that are voting.
It would fix a lot of problems, though.
I mean, maybe it would, but it's only a start. There's a lot of people that, and there are a lot of women that vote way better than men do.
That's also true.
So
the one reason I kind of like stopped joking or talking about the 19th Amendment is not because I changed my mind, but because I realized that it just pisses people off and it's never gonna happen. So, like, the 19th Amendment is just simply not going to be repealed.
Yeah. If you want to limit the franchise, you cannot limit the franchise based on any kind of race or sex stuff. You have to be like, okay, nobody can vote unless you've done these things.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that you
It's an
could ever
easier pill
make.
to swallow.
Yeah, that's the only way you could ever make the argument, because people are going to attack you as a sexist or a racist. So you can't say, "Oh, these people can't vote. These people can't vote." You say, "No one can vote unless you've done this."
Unless you do the push-up contest.
Yes, whatever.
Which would have the same
criteria it
effect,
is.
right?
You know, like.
Let's get that 20 and then we'll move on.
Corey Anderson said, quitting drinking is the hardest thing. I have been in the Navy for 20 years and it is almost a crutch. If I deploy, it's easy to not drink. I drink now and I feel like crap. I know it's bad, but it helps me deal with the pain. Not a good thing to rely on a substance to alleviate physical pain or emotional pain.
I can empathize with that. Like, I understand why that, you can have that feeling, and I understand that it's hard. But the less you do it and the more you can abstain from it, the better.
Well, I guess we should talk about addictive substances then.
Let's go for it.
Reportedly, Gen Z is making smoking cool again, to which I would say smoking never stopped being cool.
You're not making anything.
You're not making anything ever again. The truth is, the public was just inundated with propaganda against smoking promptly after they were inundated with propaganda in favor of smoking, and they followed the tides of culture. Big tobacco had a lot of celebrity endorsements in old Hollywood days, and then suddenly there was this public health push in the other direction, and people followed along.
4 out of 5 doctors say that Pall Mall is the cigarette for you.
Yeah.
That was a real thing.
Yeah, Big Pharma can make you believe literally anything. Gen Z reported the lowest smoking rates on record in 2024, according to CDC and FDA data, but that trend may be in jeopardy. One expert says overall, the decline in smoking in the U.S., down to about 11.9% of the population overall, is a great public health success story that has occurred over the past 20 years. Some experts, however, fear that the cool factor could be making a comeback, hooking a new generation on smoking.
The thing is, there was a coordinated push from Hollywood like 30 years ago to get people off smoking, where they worked to make sure that you didn't think it was cool.
Yeah.
It's like when you see old pictures of James Bond, he used to smoke, and then when Pierce Brosnan took over, he punches a guy in one of the movies and goes, "Filthy habit." Yeah. A guy who was smoking.
I've been watching what's a show? Stranger Things. And a lot of people in Stranger Things smoke because it's set in the 80s when a lot more people smoked. And man, I tell you what, I miss smoking.
Yeah, it's an old world habit, and businesses followed with getting rid of their smoking sections. Only a few millennials even remember a time when restaurants had smoking sections. The older millennials.
Yeah, I think most millennials
remember that. I don't have any memory of any business having a smoking section.
Part of the reason why I have the Delta card, my Delta American Express Sky Miles card, and I fly Delta all the time, is because the Atlanta airport, which is where Delta generally runs their connectors through, has smoking sections, and I believe they still have them to this day. There are a handful of places where you can, but that was one of the reasons I was like, I can go ahead and fly through, make my connections at Atlanta and stop to smoke a cigarette when I do long flights.
Just like those rooms where you let your dog go wee.
Yep, and I think that you can. I think there are a couple smoking sections in Reagan as well.
There was we were literally just the other day, because we were traveling for me and Olivia were back in Michigan, and I was looking at all the hotel signs that they all have don't smoke, no smoking symbols on the hotel. I'm like, do they even need to put that? Are there any rooms that are actually allowing it? I don't think there are.
The reason I am surprised by the notion that Gen Z is re-glamorizing smoking is because this is the most risk-averse generation to ever walk the planet.
Or-
and how would they not be terrified of the risks?
Or now they're just giving up and they're like, you know what?
F it. I'm here for a
I'm
good
not
time,
gonna
not a
own a
long time.
house. I'm not gonna have a family. I might as well smoke.
I can imagine that it's two things. One, they're gonna cure cancer by the time this is gonna matter to me. Or two, the risk is so far away. Like the idea of getting, because when you're 23, 24, like when you're 60 or 70 seems like literally forever away.
That's true. Like when you're young, you have less of a perception of time, right? Like you think that everything's going to be great forever, or everything's going to be awful forever, I suppose, judging by this generation.
Yeah.
So maybe there's just a lack of understanding of how quickly that can
Zoomers
sneak up
like,
on
you know what? By the time that I get lung cancer, we're all going to be underwater anyway. Who cares?
Elon's going to make Neuralink that's going to
Yeah,
fix
it's either
something.
either we're all going to be underwater or we're all going to have downloaded our consciousness into Neuralink, or both.
The
by
robot
then. So who
doesn't even
cares?
have lungs. I don't need it.
If they came up with a surefire cure for cancer, like some kind of way to cure all of cancers, we figured out this therapy that can cure all cancers, blah blah blah, there is a significant chance that I might start smoking cigarettes again, even though cigarettes could still cause emphysema, still cause all these problems. That you get rid of cancer, and she's like, man,
It would be hard to resist for a lot of people.
It would probably take Sarah would have to be like, no, you're not. Like,
There is a popular Instagram page called Sigfluencers, which features a lot of celebrities smoking cigarettes. And that includes Sabrina Carpenter, Ben Affleck, Jeremy Allen White, Natalie Portman. I recall Jenna Ortega getting absolutely dragged for smoking cigarettes in paparazzi photos, and her fan base was just horrified by these photos of her. And she's not even like a chain smoker. She doesn't seem to be smoking every time that we see her out in public.
Yeah.
She was smoking with some friends like one time, and people freaked out over it, panicking.
Yeah.
And it seems like maybe the tide is turning on this issue. They say influencers can be influenced by marketing dollars and can attract younger generations to smoking, particularly if the channels used are popular among younger people. Social media like TikTok, for instance. Multiple studies show that adolescents and young adults who watch smoking-related content are more likely to begin using tobacco products in the future.
What the hell is smoking-related content?
You know, just like photo shoots of somebody that they look up to smoking a cigarette. If you're watching a movie where Jenna Ortega is smoking a cigarette,
Okay.
it does work on people. It does, maybe representation matters, not in the context that we normally think about it. Those risks are magnified when young adults engage with tobacco content on social media. I get push ads all the time for, I forget the organization. It's like a nonprofit that's anti-smoking and anti-tobacco. Now they're even launching anti-nicotine pouch campaigns on social media.
That was
Just
called Target
anti-nicotine
Market when I was a kid.
as a
Target
whole.
Market.
I've never smoked. I don't plan to. I use nicotine pouches. Maybe that's naive since they haven't existed or been popular for long enough to know the risks.
I mean, that's true of your cell phone, right? Like one day we're gonna find out that everybody's like literally getting a humongous tumor on the side of their head from their phones, and they've, completely plausible.
Yeah, but until then, I'm going to continue zinning.
Okay.
Zinning is winning. They say it's a confusing and dangerous contradiction for young people who take cues from pop culture and celebrity influencers and are especially vulnerable to believe that smoking is more popular than it really is. And you know what? I guess if you did just pay attention to Hollywood, you would think that smoking is more common because it makes scenes visually interesting.
Just
and
like
adds,
being gay.
It adds an interesting visual element to certain scenes. If you're having a dialogue scene in a movie, for instance, the cigarette gives a natural pause to different phrases and sentences in conversation.
Yeah.
I completely understand why it's included in so many movies, but maybe if you just paid attention to media, you would probably think that it's more common than it is. It's only, they said, like only less than 12% of the population smokes.
Unless you're watching network television, then you'd be under the impression that nobody ever smoked or swore ever.
Or ever like peed, maybe.
And there was I mean, those are not really the same thing in that context. But like, people would also have the argument about like how characters who smoked were portrayed in movies used to be something where it was a signal for a villain in a character rather than a good guy.
A recent op-ed said that smoking is experiencing a pop culture revival, and that's an unwelcome throwback for public health. This normalization of smoking is reigniting a harmful cultural associations between cigarettes and coolness, to which young people are vulnerable. In the mid to late 90s, around 1/3 of high schoolers smoked cigarettes. That's crazy. That's a huge portion.
I wonder what these people would say about weed in television shows and movies. How do they feel about,
It's probably less common to see weed smoking on TV.
But I'm saying, do they think that is all, like, do these people think that is also harmful, or are they on the legalized train?
Well, let's be real. Vaping is never going to be cool or look cool. So,
Nope.
Yeah, when I see people vaping in movies or TV shows, I'm just like, ugh, cringe.
Yeah, like, it's a universal sign that dude can't be trusted.
Yeah. And that number has dropped to less than 3% of high schoolers today. It's harder to track trends in youth and young adults because they tend to be less connected to survey efforts, and behaviors change quickly. The signals we do have suggest that tobacco smoking rates are much lower in Gen Z than for some earlier generations. But around 8% of Gen Z teens use e-cigarettes. I think they're just using that as a catch-all term for vape pens, right? Some of them call it an anxiety pen because they have mental issues that they feel are remedied by the breathing exercise of inhaling a vape.
There's a 20.
We have a 20 from Lisa Boswell. How many zins you got up in them cheeks, girl? Just one right now. I don't do multiple
at a time.
I haven't done that.
Okay.
That would be overkill. I've known people who have like the specialty like 20 milligram pouches, and they have like 4 of them in their mouth at once. And I'm like, at that point, just smoke. Like, what's your deal? When I have a zin, it's 6 milligrams, which is half the amount of nicotine that's in a cigarette if you finish a cigarette. And then I have like too many of those a day for sure, but I'm not going to feel like shit if I don't.
Yeah.
Which I feel is a sustainable place to be at.
There you go.
And I like that it's sort of like chewing gum, like it's just a nice flavor.
I'll tell you this, like a lot of things that you wouldn't know can be addictive. If I like sip a soda like a cola, I will absolutely feel calmer for a few seconds because I used to drink so much soda. So I just try to not do it.
It's that trigger.
It is.
Dopamine receptors.
That's absolutely what it is. It's not actually doing anything. My brain is doing all the work, which is why I have to avoid soda. Otherwise, I'll get fat again.
I'm hearing a lot of panic from the experts, which leads me to believe that, of course, as usual, the experts are wrong. And one Zoomer who openly advocates for nicotine use is John Doyle at The Blaze.
John Doyle is incredibly talented.
I remembered that he actually, I think I was in the room when he tried a Zyn for the first time. I'm not kidding, because we were on the Whatever podcast in 2023. Maybe this was early last year. I forget now. But yeah, like I saw him try a Zyn for the first time, and he was just taken aback at the rush that it gave him. That's the same time that I actually tried a Zyn for the first time. But he tweeted, "They don't want you taking uppers. They don't want you dialed in. They want you smoking weed and masturbating and watching Netflix." In response to Chuck Schumer calling for federal action to crack down on Zyn products.
Meanwhile, like every doctor's like, is your child unable to sit still for 8 hours a day?
This
Here's
is crazy.
some Adderall.
Chuck Schumer says the nicotine.
Thank you guys.
Third party of the day. Thank you very much.
We appreciate that.
I'm feeling dialed in right now. So this makes zero sense, but Chuck Schumer's argument here is that nicotine pouches pose a danger to teens because they use them as an alternative to e-cigarettes and vaping. How is that?
Let's doing it again. How long do you think it'll go?
I'm not dancing for this one. That would be cheating. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's going to keep blinking. but we'll keep
Vaping
going.
is
Yep.
demonstrably way worse for you than nicotine pouches. Obviously. So if teenagers are using nicotine pouches as an alternative to vaping, that should be a step in the right direction, right?
Yep.
John Doyle also added, we need nicotine chemtrails, estrogen and fluoride out of the water, replace it with nicotine, make America great again. And I do agree with like the core of his take here, which is that, you know, it does seem there is more public acceptance of downers, like substances that dial you down instead of locking in, marijuana specifically.
Maybe it's not because you're locked in. Maybe it's because you're annoying when you're on the uppers. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe society's like, dude, you're not locked in. You're just talking a lot.
You can't be more annoying than when you're drunk.
Drunk, that
Or
would
actually
be,
even like if
alcohol
people,
is like a downer if you do too
and,
much.
and if you're like, so some people can use marijuana and be fine and function in society. There are some people that when they get stoned, it is like they are stoned. You can tell, and it's exhausting. It's like, really, man, like, and it makes
Yeah.
them dumb. There are people that can smoke marijuana, and you would never know. I know plenty of people that will smoke marijuana and be completely, unassuming. You wouldn't know. But when it comes to drinking, like, man, you can't hide it. You cannot hide it.
I would much prefer for today's youth to be nicotine maxing.
Absolutely.
If it's an alternative to weed maxing, because, I mean, especially at that young age, if you're regularly smoking weed or doing THC gummies, whatever, it does have a real effect on your brain function and kills brain cells. Simply doing nicotine pouches, though, doesn't have the same effect. So it literally is less of a risk.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that heightening your senses is better than dulling them.
There you go.
If you had to pick between the two.
Look, for me, if anybody wanted my 2 cents on the matter, I don't know if you do. I at this point in my life, I do not like the idea of needing anything at all. Just because if you have substance abuse issues, it actually becomes a chain. You cannot travel, you can't do anything unless you have access to it, right? So outside of ibuprofen every so often for skating, I can't I can't even, I don't want to go on any prescription medications. Not that I guess I would need any right now, but no substances of any kind. 1, because I'm in recovery, but 2, because I wouldn't want to have that need. Like, what if I'm out and I feel like I need it and I don't have it right now? And I hated that feeling. It really was. It felt like a prison. So for me, I can't use anything.
Smoking cigarettes, that is absolutely true. When you are a smoker, at least when I was a smoker, I mean, like I said just a few minutes ago, I decided what planes I would take, what flight routes I would take because of smoking cigarettes. I would always be thinking, can I smoke? Yeah. When will I be able to smoke? Will I be able to go, and then can I go outside? And all that was constantly something that I was thinking about. And it is absolutely, like, just like Brett said, it's like a prison.
So like when I would travel for skating, when I'd go on tour, like the idea is like, you're not going to make however many, and I'm not talking about smoking, of course, I'm talking about other stuff, but the point is you had to either ration out what you had and make it last for an extended period of time, not knowing how long you were going to be gone, or you had to hope that there was somebody around that could get you what you needed. And now the idea of being back in that position for anything scares the crap out of me.
Yeah,
like even nicotine.
It's awful.
Like just no. Just my 2 cents.
Let's finish up these super chats.
Okay.
Corey Anderson said, breastfeeding past 6 to 9 months is weird.
No.
Are we really going to get into a breastfeeding debate on Pop Culture Crisis? Is this Mom Culture Crisis?
Is 6 months when you should stop? Like, I don't, like, if you're baby.
It's advised that you would do a minimum of 6 months. If you ask doctors, they would advise a minimum of 6 months.
Yeah, like.
Not a maximum of
like
6 months.
Like, fine, like a year and a half, 2 years old, that's maybe, it's like, all right, you probably should wean them off. But, like.
To me, it's like, it's a cultural thing for sure. Like in the rest of the world, outside of the West especially, and specifically outside of the US, like it's super normal to breastfeed like well past the walking stage, and like we find it weird because it's just not our culture. It's not normalized in our culture, and if it were, we wouldn't bat an eye. But like, yeah, people just need to stop quibbling about all of these pet issues about parenting and
we live in
and
the
birth
podcast
and
era.
breastfeeding and
we
stuff.
live in the podcast era. Pet issues are exactly what gets clicks.
It's so exhausting. And, you know, it makes people, like, honestly, it makes, I bet it makes a lot of women think that being a mom is just a living hell. To see moms just tearing each other apart constantly.
That's how I feel about anybody that, like, has a TikTok or an Instagram based around their job, where they'll focus on, like, the negative sides of it. And they'll make TikToks about the stuff about their job that sucks. I'm like, can you imagine being young? You're like, maybe I'll do this. And then you go look it up on Instagram and it's somebody being like, these are all the reasons my job fucking sucks.
And it's the same way with, like, mommy influencers.
Like, who wouldn't be talked out of it with the way that the people talk about those things? Like, that's, like, I have definitely looked into things. I'm like, maybe do this. And then you look it up and there's just some avant-garde video about why their job is awful. And they obviously don't hate their job or they wouldn't do it, right? And they definitely wouldn't have a TikTok channel dedicated to it if they didn't at least like it in some way.
You look it up and they're like, here's how, like, being a mom ruined my life. And then there's another video right below it that says, like, if you don't free birth into the Pacific Ocean, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Robert Delero said, you don't have to always express your feelings. Sometimes silence is golden. So true. But who are we to talk? We're literally sitting in front of microphones right now.
Better to hold your tongue and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and assure everyone.
I think I fall into that. For somebody who hosts a podcast, I think I actually managed to hit that. And you do too, because you're not like you post on X, but it's not like you're a super poster who posts all the time.
No.
And I post about stupid stuff in Hollywood, but I have plenty of thoughts on politics that I just keep to myself because I just don't, I don't want to sit there and articulate what I'm thinking about. So I'd like to think that I managed to hold my tongue on a lot of things.
There's
all the
a lot
time.
in my drafts.
Yes.
It's an important
absolutely.
feature. Corey Anderson said, your body is releasing oil and sweat all day. Wash. This is good advice.
Yes, it is.
Pat the plumber said, where's that degenerate Camelot? You get him a Timcast sponsorship and now he's cool. He's too cool for PCC. No, he is not. He's coming on tomorrow.
He literally sent me a message last week and said he was going to be in town and he wanted to do the show.
Yeah.
Camelot's the man.
Shane H. Wilder said, she should have come to an abnormal psychology class as a case study. I still have my ab psych textbook and there is a whole chapter on these people. A whole chapter on, well, I assume not OnlyFans models, but what, on prostitutes?
Perhaps.
Interesting. Brian Bledsoe said, growing up, seeing mostly the negative effects of smoking and drinking from family and elsewhere influenced my lack of desire for both. Well, look, I'll admit, I really like the smell of cigarette smoke, like secondhand smoke. Not if it's like kind of musty and like embedded into drywall and carpets. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like, if I'm around someone who's smoking, I definitely don't mind the smell. And it's because I used to just think that's how grandparents smelled. And I would really like hugging my grandparents because I thought that that's just how they smelled.
And then you learned later it was a product that made them smell that way.
Yes. I don't mind it at all. I guess I'm in an unpopular opinion. Shane H. Wilder said, young gravy, dog, modern rappers have tarded names. Yeah, whatever happened to Young Gravy? Is he just on the OnlyFans grind now? Like, is he making music?
Still makes music, I'm sure.
What's going on there? Gayton, already read that one earlier. Rural Conservative said, I got my first tattoo this summer.
Yeah.
I thought about it for 5 years. It is a small chiro. My advice is if you want a tattoo, don't do it just because. It should mean something. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
When we talked about tattoos on the show, the video actually did much better than I expected, because it's basically about the booming industry of boutique high-end tattoo removal services. And this is something that like private equity is getting super interested in because we have this huge tattooed population now and people regretting their decisions. So of course, like, this is a great investment to make in these businesses that remove them, and they're making it less painful, less invasive, and cheaper over time.
And the best thing they can do is just hire famous people who want to have their tattoos removed and sign them on as spokespersons.
Pete Davidson, I believe,
he's doing that right now.
A lot of tattoos removed. He's still in the middle of the process.
Yep.
Yeah. Nightwing Rich said, smoking my church warden pipe will always be cool.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. Abstract Cats official TSG said 59, and I've had 2 wine coolers, never smoked.
Good. Don't smoke.
Good for you. If you haven't started, no, not time to start now. Urashima Otaru said secondhand smoke was a lie by the World Health Organization.
Is that true?
No, like secondhand smoke is really bad for children and pets. That's a fact.
Look, smoking is terrible for you.
Yes.
Like as much as I'm going to sit here and say I miss it and I loved it, the reason I don't now is because it's terrible for you. So, like, if it wasn't actually bad for you, I would be ripping Marlboros all the time.
You know, I would attribute the coolness of smoking to the danger of smoking, but even when people believed it was healthy and had no health risks, they still thought it was cool. So that can't be the explanation.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be.
Why is smoking so cool? Like, I think it's just because it slows down your speech patterns.
I have no idea.
It changed how you interacted with the people around you. Made you more thoughtful.
Punctuates your interactions very neatly.
Maybe that's what I have to do to, like, that's the only way I could slow down my speech pattern when I'm doing videos is to...
I feel like being next to fire activates something in our
caveman
brains.
Okay.
Like someone who's dealing with fire looks cool, right?
Yeah, okay.
It's like proximity to danger in a way. I don't know.
There's
Give me
the
your
most
theories.
annoying person you know has made like an 80-minute video on this. I
Yeah.
guarantee you online. The
I'm
science
sure.
of why smoking was cool.
Yeah, give us your takes on why smoking is cool. Stephanie said, I quit smoking a week ago. Can I get a yell from Phil?
No.
No? Okay.
Yell.
You dole them out selectively.
That's right.
We respect that.
Let's go!
Okay.
There we go.
Never mind. Shane H. Wilder said, she got dragged for being photographed smoking. Bravo. I see what you did there, Mary. Game respects game. I didn't know that I was doing that. No pun intended, actually. But she was. Which I thought was really strange.
Every like funny thing I've ever said that somebody's like, that was really clever, it was always on accident for me. Sorry.
Sully Dunn said, there are still smoking rooms in motels. I stayed in one last year in Philly. Well, casinos always let people smoke. That's one last place where you can smoke inside because they don't want you leaving.
Yep.
Urashima Otaru said, 07 MPAA decided smoking raises chances for R ratings.
That's interesting. So if you have people smoking in your movie, they're going to give you R ratings. Another example was, I think when they did the show Lucifer, or maybe it was Constantine. Basically, in the comics, the character would smoke. And in the show, they would show him just as he's putting it out or setting it down, but never actually show you doing it.
It was a cheat code.
Yeah, yeah.
But what if they never showed him inhaling it, just holding it?
Yeah, I'm sure that would be okay. You just can't show him actually smoking it.
Okay. That was a huge part of the Fault in Our Stars. Remember that? Did you ever watch that? Those movies? So they both have cancer, obviously, the two teenagers in the movie. And she meets the guy, the love interest, and they're at like a cancer support group, and he's holding a cigarette in his mouth, and she's like, she has like an oxygen tank that she wheels around with her, and he explains that he doesn't actually smoke. He never lights the cigarette. He just holds the cigarette in his mouth to like make a point about like he has power over the cigarette. I don't know. I don't remember the whole explanation, but it was something really corny like that.
Somebody in the chat, I think Mike said, Brett, it was Constantine. He'd have his back turned while lighting up, etc. Yeah, but I'm looking online here, and it says it was Lucifer, in the show Lucifer, the character. That's what I always remember, because he's always playing the piano, and he'd be putting it in the ashtray on the top of the piano before playing, so you'd never actually see him smoke. So both of them probably did it because the characters come from a time when it was more socially acceptable to do so.
I went to an antique candy store over the weekend, and they still have the candy cigarettes for kids.
Yeah, you get those. So whenever we go back to Minnesota, there's like the world's biggest candy store. It's enormous. It's in this huge barn. And there's a whole section dedicated to like candy cigarettes.
But are they just like cylinders of chocolate? Like what's the...
No, it was like...
Do you actually like inhale it?
It was like a sweet tart, but shaped differently.
Okay. We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. When I was 10, a 14-year-old big guy in the neighborhood tried to peer pressure me and my 9-year-old neighbor into smoking. Took 2 puffs, coughed my lungs up. I said, how do our parents smoke these things? Never smoked.
I can't believe those stories are real. This is where my
That's crazy.
anecdotal evidence never matches up with reality, because nobody ever like tried to peer pressure. It's like when they're like, somebody's just going to offer you drugs one day. That never happened to me. Nobody was ever like, hey, man, want some drugs? Like... I know that happens. I know
Opening the trench
I
coat.
know that free samples are a thing that drug dealers give out to get you hooked and then get you coming back for more. But it never happened to me. And nobody, like, anytime somebody was like, because again, like I never smoked. So people would be like, oh, you want a cigarette? I say no. They're like, good for you. Good for you.
So you were never just offered drugs, like, just out of the blue?
No. I mean, I went to people I knew could get me drugs, but that's not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
Drewish AF of Christendom said, how much to take you on a date, any of you, and chat. What do you mean? You just want to date literally anybody? Doesn't matter who?
I'm sorry, but I can't do that because I'm married. That's a joke.
I'm just going to say no and I don't need a reason.
The joke is always me and my wife. We talk about like when somebody asks you out and you say like, I'm sorry, but I'm taken. You should not do that. You should be like, I'm taken. Because saying I'm sorry indicates some level of like you wish you could, but you can't.
If they wanted to read into it in a self-flattering way, I suppose. Yeah. Or you could just say no and you don't need to like tell someone that you're married. You can just say no and that should be a good enough answer, right?
Yeah, I'm flattered, but
I
no.
do this. I just...
No words. Just flash the ring. And they're like, what? Yeah. Pat the Plumber said $15.50 for a pack of Marlboros in Massachusetts.
Oh, God. I'm glad that
That's
I don't
crazy.
smoke anymore, though.
Wild. There's like whole, trafficking operations for cigarettes from states where they're not as expensive.
New Hampshire.
From New Hampshire,
people would go
specifically?
because the taxes are
wow.
significantly less in New Hampshire. People used to drive from Massachusetts to New Hampshire, buy a couple cartons and drive back.
This would happen in Minnesota because the taxes were lower in Wisconsin. If I remember correctly, they would go over the border to Wisconsin.
Shane H. Wilder said, I used to smoke. I tried to switch to vaping for a month, thought it was gay, so I switched to 6 milligram Zins, 10 a day, and the occasional cigar. 10 a day is crazy work, Shane. I get close on occasion, but never. I've counted, so I have one when I drive to work.
Do you know like the general amount you have a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
One when I drive to work, one when we're streaming. I have one when I get home, and then maybe another one later at the night.
So like
in the night.
4?
4 a day usually, which I think is reasonable. Robert Delera said hookah lounges are popular in some areas. Smoking hookah for an hour is the equivalent of smoking anywhere between 100 to 200 cigarettes. Well, only if you were like you were inhaling the entire hour, right?
But you're in a hookah lounge, like the place is usually full of smoke as well. So
even if you don't actually smoke from the hookah, you will get an effect.
I'm not sure what the effect that you get from
Wow.
a hookah is. Like I thought it was just smoking tobacco, so it would be the same kind of effect as smoking a cigarette or whatever. But you're in a hookah lounge when you're in the the lounges. They're full of smoke.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like cleaning the air out so that way people aren't inhaling the smoke. It's like that's the point of the hookah lounge.
Right.
So.
Drewish AF of Christendom said vape is a gay digital cig. Go analog. Go gaze. I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
Okay. Lindsay Stiltner said favorite Zin flavors, cool mint here. I'm not into minty stuff. I get cinnamon and citrus almost every time. I used to get coffee, but it doesn't really taste that much like coffee.
What does it taste like then?
It tastes like almost like a fake cherry flavor. I don't know. It's gross.
Ew.
And I also used to get just the unflavored kind, but I got bored with that. So if it depends on the drink that I'm drinking with this. It's like a very...
You pair it with one?
Right.
Ah.
I just learned that there's mojito flavor Zins and espresso martini flavor Zins. I need to try. Corey Anderson said, top that from 1989's Teen Witch is the best example of rap ever recorded in human history. Top that.
Okay.
I wouldn't know. Jewish AF of Christendom said, I love tattoos and tobacco. Come on, ladies.
They should be lining
Is
up.
that
They
you're
should be
selling
lining up for him.
You're selling yourself as hoping to get a date with literally anybody. You said anybody, male or female. So I don't know. If you're in the chat and you're interested, send us a message. Corey Anderson said, I hate my stupid Chungus life.
Well, you should.
Sorry,
you should
Corey
love
Anderson.
your stupid Chungus life.
Or make it less stupid and Chungus. Then you'll love it. Shane H. Wilder said the textbook chapter was on sexual deviance. Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Urashima Otaru said, no, secondhand smoke causing cancer isn't real. Well, okay. I don't know about that, but even if secondhand smoke doesn't cause cancer, it doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't have any negative effect on people inhaling it. And yeah, then he said, of course, a room filled with smoke is bad for anyone. That's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah.
Brian Bledsoe said, Brett saying that class comes in handy, just another happy accident.
What? Class?
I don't know.
I'm confused.
Corey Anderson. Oh, we have a 20 there from Matt A. Who 99. Does the Gen Z pop star that embarrasses exes on stage make a habit of hugging the people he brings on stage? I noticed that in some of the short before the video ends, a little creepy.
Talking about Somber?
Yeah, Somber. I don't know. Let's have a no touching policy with your 12-year-old fans. That would be great. Also, I just think it's kind of cruel to like call a child up on the phone from their like classmates' number and try to embarrass them in front of thousands of people. And he tries to defend it by saying he's freshly 20.
Yeah.
Bro, you're an adult man. Stop. Super immature. Corey Anderson said Will Smith in the world famous rap Ditty, getting jiggy with it, stated, it's for the look, I don't light it, in reference to having a cigar. Lame.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, that was when Will Smith was really working to like prove his geek bona fides by like not swearing and doing everything as like parent approved as possible.
Yeah.
We have another 20 from Vodka J Bulls. My bro got a Swiss Army knife from the Marlboro Rewards catalog and gave it to me when I was 10 years old. That knife has been with me every day and I'm 39. P.S. I smoke them if I got them. They got me early. LOL.
That's very impressive to be able to retain any item that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time when we were
Especially if it's an item that you're carrying with you all the time, like a daily carry thing, and to have it every day, that's impressive.
When we started PCC early on, I remember the first time I used a pen until it was out of ink. And I was like, that mean that pen never moved and it stayed in the same room every day and it didn't just go missing? That was a good time.
But sometimes what you would do with the pen is you would take the top part and you would start, no, not the clicking, worse. You would take the top part and you would start rotating it and it would make this awful noise, like the frequency that you can barely hear.
Yeah.
But it just drives you fucking crazy.
Drives
You would
you
do that a
crazy.
lot. Yeah, I don't miss that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pop Culture Junkie said the big guy in the neighborhood at various times tried to get all of us younger kids to smoke, torture cats, TP houses at night, and blow up mailboxes with M80 firecrackers. He was a terror. Okay, so we're talking about a child who has not yet been diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder who's probably in prison now.
Yeah.
Poor kid, never stood a chance. Thank you. Party number 4.
Yep, we'll have to wait and see if this one overstays its welcome. I don't want it
Hopefully
to. We prefer that it doesn't.
That would be rude.
Wait and see.
Okay.
Is it going to shut off or is it going to keep going? The lights are still going.
The suspense is killing me.
Let's have to wait and see. I feel like it's going to reset. Come on. Yes.
Are we in the clear?
Yeah, we're good. As soon as the light's clear, we're good.
Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, I use coffee. It's more of a root beer flavor to me. Yeah, it definitely, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't coffee flavored.
Yeah.
They do have caffeine, like coffee pouches, though. that you can use instead of nicotine
Yes,
pouches.
I remember Surge or somebody had
Yeah.
those at one point.
But I thought, like, what's the point? I would just drink
The coffee.
coffee.
Well, yeah, like now that I am a coffee person, I have my cold brew every morning on the way to work. It's the actual going to work part and having it that's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about it.
Rural Conservative said, when two men go on a date, who pays?
That's
a good
fantastic
question. I don't know.
Also, I guess I should amend my previous statement. Caffeine is still technically a drug, so I definitely still imbibe in a way because I do drink caffeine in the morning now. You know.
Mm-hmm.
The answer to the previous question is whoever asked the other one out.
There you go.
But what if it's like more complicated than that?
How is it more complicated, or how could it be more complicated?
I mean, dating apps kind of blurry those.
The person that sent the first message.
Sent the first message, is it? Okay.
Yeah, if you like swipe, if you're the person that swiped right on the person and the other person responded, the person that did the swiping is the person asking. You're making the inquiry, you're saying, "Hey, you're reaching out." Whoever reaches out to make the first, breaks the ice, that's the person that pays.
But that would mean that every woman on Bumble prior to
We're not talking about straight people.
So we're only using this rule for the gays.
Straight people, men pay.
Got it.
If you are in any way traditional,
No, she's
the
saying
man
because
pays.
at one point Bumble was like the women had to reach out to the men, right?
Which is fine,
Yeah.
but even still, because if you're dealing with a male and female dynamic, man and woman,
Different.
the man pays for it. If you're dealing with gay people and you're like, oh, I can't figure it out, the person that reaches out, because that's the person that did the masculine role.
I see.
So
I don't really deal with gay people that much, so I
Neither
don't know
do I.
this stuff.
There's a comment, I'm sure they're talking amongst themselves, Phil, but somebody in the Rumble chat says, Walther is better than Glock and just as easy to disassemble. Is this true?
No.
We do have Rumble rants, though.
Do we?
Before we forget, I saw at least one.
Okay.
I think that was the only one, maybe?
Yep. It says, the local Wendigo says, I've saved so much money by not buying cigarettes and just bumming free cigarettes of random people at events.
You're going to get a cold sore by doing that.
And a couple more. The local Wendigo says, Nicki Minaj apparently called for the protection of Christians in Nigeria at a UN event. Go read the thread on r/entertainment about it. It's like looking at a right-wing account of people calling out left-wing people who hate celebrities. It's really funny. And instead of conservatives being like, this guy's woke, this is why you never take the opinions of actors seriously. It's just that, but coming from leftists. It's actually quite funny. And the local Wendigo also says, I think the toaster effing is a Warhammer 40K joke. The tech priests of Mars.
Is it?
Okay.
I didn't pick up on that.
Okay.
Brian Bledsoe said, growing up, I was definitely peer pressured to drink, not so much to smoke. Was never convinced it was worth it. Kind of made me an outsider. To not smoke made you an outsider? That's crazy to think about nowadays. Oscar Regalado said, I share the stream with my nemesis. I have a black eye and he has a broken nose. I think he will watch now.
Okay.
You followed our advice. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Corey Anderson said, my older brother is such a cig fiend. He will smoke bullets out of ashtrays from public places. Gross. Never liked cigs and they make people stink.
Yeah, that's not. I don't recommend.
I
that.
assume you never were reduced to such indignities when you were a smoker.
Smoking out of a public there were times when I was young when I would smoke out of my own ashtray, right? Like if I put a cigarette out and there was more, there was something, and I was out, whatever, but ever ever out of a public. Oh God, no.
Frank F said, got my first tattoo at 39, decoded to get it at lunch. Got it after work, decided what to get on the way. Doesn't have to be so deep, just fun. Well, what is it?
I want to know.
Can't leave us hanging like that. Interesting, though. Shane H. Wilder said, I inherited my dad's Benson & Hedges suit, travel bag, and toiletry bag. I do use them when traveling.
Okay.
Pop Culture Junkie said, when Big Guy moved out of the neighborhood, we all celebrated. So did our parents.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, poor Big Guy. Urashima Otaru said secondhand smoke originally only referred to the belief that the exhaled smoke caused cancer based on a retracted report by World Health Organization. Sorry for confusion.
Okay. All
no
right.
worries.
Guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you've not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share everything out with everybody. We appreciate it. Phil, where can they find you?
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. All That Remains, my band, just did a collab with Puck Hockey. And we did a bunch of merch, super cool, like hockey jerseys and a bunch of cool new designs. You can check that out at Puck Hockey. That's PuckhCky.com, puckhockey.com. You can check out All That Remains music on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, and Deezer. Don't forget the left lane is for crime.
Brett, you got to get on that. You got to represent
Yeah.
the All That Remains hockey jersey. That would look cool.
They're supposed to be sending me a bunch of stuff,
Nice.
and I will be wearing it once it comes in. I will be shilling my own band.
Love
Yes.
that.
Okay.
Well, let me shill. Since we were talking about addictive substances today, you should go to castbrew.com, get yourself a bag of Mary's Ghost Blend, my s'mores flavored coffee. It's so good that you'll be addicted to it.
Perfect.
And you can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, I will be on the Discord show tonight at 6:30 p.m., so stay tuned for that. If you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here normally 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. Amazon Music. Phil, can you move the mic, please?
Always
Amazon
with
Music.
you.
Literally every time.
Man.
Amazon Music. It's not even that I care that it's in the shot. It just distracts me. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. And if you want to follow us on social media, we're on Twix at @popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, I also want to remind you, next week, Thanksgiving is on Thursday, so we'll be off like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yes. I will be doing a Wednesday solo 1 hour episode. It's not PCC. It's just going to be some news updates and all that stuff. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it, so stay tuned for that. We got a bunch of other stuff coming. We will be back with another episode of the show with Camelot tomorrow.
Yeah.
See you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.